A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark, chapter 5, verses 21 to 43. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. After Jesus crossed over by boat, a large crowd met him at the seaside. One of the meeting place leaders named Jairus came. When he saw Jesus, he fell to his knees beside himself as he begged, "My dear daughter is at death's door. Come and lay hands on her so she will get well and live." Jesus went with him, the whole crowd tagging along, pushing and jostling him. A woman who had suffered a condition of hemorrhage for 12 years, a long succession of physicians had treated her badly, taking all her money and leaving her worse off than before, had heard about Jesus. She slipped in from behind and touched his robe. She was thinking to herself, "If I can put a finger on his robe, I can get well." The moment she did it, the flow of blood dried up. She could feel the change and knew her plague was over and done with. At the same moment, Jesus felt energy discharging from him. He turned around to the crowd and asked, "Who touched my robe?" His disciples said, "What are you talking about? With this crowd pushing and jostling you, you are asking, 'Who touched me?' Dozens have touched you." But he went on asking, looking around to see who had done it. The woman, knowing what had happened, knowing she was the one, stepped up in fear and trembling, knelt before him, and gave him the whole story. Jesus said to her, "Daughter, you took a risk of faith, and now you are healed and whole. Live well, live blessed, be healed of your plague." While he was still talking, some people came from the leader's house and told him, "Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" Jesus overheard what they were talking about and said to the leader, "Don't listen to them. Just trust me." He permitted no one to go with him except Peter, James, and John. They entered the leader's house and pushed their way through the gossips, looking for a story, and neighbors bringing in casseroles. Jesus was abrupt. "Why all this busybody grief and gossip? This child isn't dead. She is sleeping." Provoked to sarcasm, they told him he didn't know what he was talking about. But when he had sent them all out, he took the child's father and mother, along with his companions, and entered the child's room. He clasped the girl's hand and said, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, get up." At that, she was up and walking around. This girl was 12 years of age. They, of course, were all beside themselves with joy. He gave them strict orders that no one was to know what had taken place in that room. Then he said, "Give her something to eat." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 5, verses 21 to 43. Today's Gospel passage narrates two healings performed by Jesus. The one of the woman who touched his garment and was healed, and then the resuscitation of the daughter of Jairus, the ruler of the synagogue of Capernaum. These two healings have in common references to biblical images. It is about two women. Therefore, the immediate reference is to life. In the book of Genesis, the man gave a name to his wife. He called her Favá. He called her thus because she was the mother of all living. What about these two women in the Gospel passage? The first one has had a blood loss for 12 years. Therefore, she is impure. She cannot generate life. The young daughter of Jairus is of marriageable age at 12, but in her, life is interrupted. She dies. These two women represent Israel. The first one refers to Israel being the bride of the Lord, who abandoned her husband, became impure. Now she cannot generate life. Only when this wife finds Christ will she be cured of her illness. She will be able to be fertile again. The daughter of Jairus also refers to Israel. We know that Israel is the bride of the Lord, but if she is not taken by the hand of her husband, if the bridegroom does not raise her up, she remains dead. This young woman is of marriageable age, of being able to generate life, but now she is dead. Let us keep in mind these two women who have no name. They represent the condition of each one of us who is called to build life. In the Bible, blood indicates life. To lose blood means to lose life. From the moment we are born, every moment that passes is a loss of life. We try to hold on to it a little longer. We run to doctors, but still life is gone. And all the attempts of humanity, with all its capacity, cannot end this loss of life. People are willing to give all their money not to lose their lives, but as Psalm 49 says, no matter how much you pay, it will never be enough to redeem your life and live forever. This woman has heard of the one who can stop the loss of life. She believes in him and says to herself, if I succeed, even if only to touch his mantle, I will be saved. She does not say healed, but saved. Salvation means no more loss of life. In the Eucharist, we have the opportunity to touch him. And in the lives of all the people around, we have the opportunity to touch the image of God. To be saved, all we need to do is to touch him in the sacraments, in the Word of God, and in the lives of people around us.